Hey everybody, Marvin here from Blacktop Banter, actually at Blacktop Banter, and in my hands I hold a Dynapack roller, which you don't get to do very often. I've been fortunate enough to see some Dynapack rollers this year and spend some time with Dynapack. Now Dynapack is the official compaction sponsor of Blacktop Banter. Some things about Dynapack and their roller system is the seismic system, which improves compaction by making adjustments every 0.2 seconds. Rather than have a stable compaction style, it will actually analyze a pavement and adjust that compaction. They're at the front of the line, always working on innovation and movement and everything that they can do to help improve the compaction world around asphalt. They have a huge presence online. You can find them, of course, at dynapack.com or on social media at dynapack_North_America or Dynapack North America, depending on where you're looking. Besides that, they're very, very active in our community as well. You can find them at many expos and shows and online, and the team as well. They have a great team there that interacts really well with our community. So if you get a chance, pop over, check them out on social media, check out what Dynapack has to offer. And as always, Dynapack is your partner on the road ahead. Hey y'all, Marvin here from Blacktop Banter. Really quick, just wanted to talk about the 800 Pavement Network. As you can see, we have some lettering there, lettering on our other truck over there, lettering on this truck here. They all say 1-800-Blacktop. We've been using the 1-800-Blacktop number here for the last couple of years. It's really been exceptional for us as far as making things click with our branding, and now that we're in another state, those area codes are together. It's worked out fantastically for us. The other thing is that 800 Pavement Network has other advantages. There's group discounts on a lot of the products and materials that we use within our industry. We're part of over 300 different, see that one? Over 300 different contractors that are now using these numbers all over the country. That's combined over $2 billion in gross profits. So if you've been thinking about it or you're curious about it and you're like, well, oh, should I or shouldn't I? DM me, message me, or reach out to 800 Pavement Network. You can find them online through their website. You can call 1-800-Pavement and you'll get them as well. They'd be happy to run you through kind of the advantages and everything else that we've been taking advantage of here at Wiscote and Dubuque Asphalt Maintenance, and how it can benefit you as well. Once again, if you're curious about it at all, you can always DM me. So yeah, 1-800-Blacktop. You can DM me or message me or email me through the podcast or Wiscote or wherever as well. I would love to talk to you about how it has helped us. Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Blacktop Banter. We are going to try to start doing some of these episodes, at least a little bit, live. Instagram is live right now. So if you're on Instagram, you can hop on and kind of get a little snippet, I guess, of what this version is. We don't want to reveal the whole thing, but it's great to have people on there and be able to watch and hang out with us and kind of get an inside look before this comes out, which will probably be about 2 or 3 weeks from now. So it's exciting to do. We're going to try doing that more. The podcast studio is still getting rebuilt, so this is our interim one right now. We're very excited for what's coming and the quality of content that's coming too. And my head doesn't look as shiny as it did at MPE, which is fantastic. I don't want to blind everybody with all that as well. So today I have a friend of mine. We've been friends inadvertently for a while because I've been making content for a while, and Brian Hall has been active in Facebook groups and with the community for a while. And now him and I interact in different ways as well, but we're going to jump into that. Brian is the territory sales manager at STE Leeboy. Brian, you want to give yourself a brief introduction, my friend?
Sure. I am, as you said, I'm the territory sales manager at Leeboy. I live in Georgia, cover Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida. I also have the honor to teach a lot of schools around the country when dealers and my colleagues call me in. We'll do schools, whether it's on commercial paving, whether it's on the Leeboy product, and I am really honored to be speaking once again at ConExpo in a couple weeks. We also give a best practices class that is not my presentation by any means. It's a conglomeration of a lot of people, but it takes everybody back at World of Asphalt, NPE, ConExpo, all those places to where we can sit down and say, hey, sometimes we get a little busy. Sometimes we forget what's important. But as for myself, as I said, I live in Georgia. I've been with Leeboy for next month will be my 22nd year. I'm proudly married, have 3 children. My youngest daughter is in her 2nd year of college. And just a shameless plug, my oldest daughter is getting married a week from tomorrow. So we're excited about it.
Are you nervous about that at all? You seem like an emotionally attached guy, Brian. I got a feeling you're going to fall apart, buddy.
Listen, let me tell you, I am nervous for personal reasons. Am I ready? Honestly, I haven't done a thing. It's my wife and my daughter. I just have to know when and where. But
you wrote the check? Did you at least write?
I made the money. My wife wrote the check, and we're all in it. We are
you
all
did your part. That's gonna say you did your part. Just
that's right.
Make some more sales. We got a wedding coming up. Yeah.
It's a great motivator.
Oh yeah. I bet it is. I'm about. Hopefully, I'm like 20 years from having to deal with that. But I don't think I'm going to be that long out. I might have to actually just ask you for some advice. We might have to make a deal in order for me to make sales, in order for me to sell some stuff.
I'll give you the only advice you need. Shut up. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. I agree. That's all the information you need.
You know, I'm in my late 30s. I'm starting to realize that might be true. But
it is.
It is. Okay. Great. Cool. Well, one thing I wanted to ask you, what do you do for fun, Brian? Like I've always kind of wondered that, because we both write articles for APE Magazine, right? I enjoy that. I enjoy reading your articles too as well. But I always kind of wondered that about Brian Hall, because you have a great personality, which you have to have in sales, right? And great conversation. But how do you unwind? Do you unwind?
It's real easy, and you know, while it might be the textbook answer, you know, I travel significantly. I'm not away from home 100% by any means, but the fun part is when I get home, being able to just take time with the family. You know, I don't do a lot of fishing. I'm not a hunter. We live right here at Lake Lanier. We love the lake. We love the boat. We love, and we go, now that we're almost an empty nester, it's fun because my wife can go on some of these trips with me. Yeah. You know, it doesn't suck having Florida as a territory. You know, there's a lot of business down there. There's a lot for her to see down there too. So I'm a family guy, number one, and you know, play golf when I can.
Yeah.
But really, it's that, and you know, without getting too corny about it, it's when you get home, you work your home office on Friday, and when that home office is done, it's done. You know, telephone goes off unless it's an emergency. And you've got to have that work-life balance in this. You know, we are all running as fast as we can, no matter whether you're local or regional or national, like some guys. But you gotta have that work-life balance. And I live by the mantra: you work smart and not hard.
Yeah, work smarter, not harder. And I could easily work 16 hours a day doing this, between the businesses and this, right? But I know how that gets me after a while. So like you said, at some point you cut her, let it go. On Instagram Live, I seen American Pavement and Raised on Blacktop just checked in and said, hey guys, Matt sent me a video, or posted a video, I think, last night, where they were at Orange Lake Resorts in Florida. And I was like, bro, I spent so many childhood vacations there and adult vacations there, right? I'm like, you have to unwind. And those guys, right, who have crazy amounts of work, they know how to unwind, cut off, and be like, okay, we're going to take some stuff in, take some time in. So
now, don't get me wrong, he's unwinding there, but he's at the auctions as well, working.
Oh yeah, I promise he is. He's there for content creation.
That's exactly right.
He does what I do. We got that covered. But yeah,
we're a proud Raised on Blacktop partner, and that will be showcased at ConExpo as well.
There it is. There's our sticker behind. right there behind my shoulder, maybe if I can get it raised on blacktop as well.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, we've all supported each other, and that's really, I spoke about it at Leeboy, right, in October, and I was like, in the future, we are all going to be collaborating with each other. Those are the ones who are going to win. And in the last, it's been a year, 2 years, all three of our entities have partnered together in some way, shape, form, or fashion, and you just see people grow, right? And their businesses grow and their marketing grows. It's fantastic to see, and to have companies and people like Matt and Blacktop Banter and Leeboy understand that this is a huge benefit that we're all part of. It's
and that's the best part of this business. Yeah, we have a fantastic product, and so does our competition. But at Leeboy, it's fun at the end of the day to say, you know what, my grandfather used to come up and buy his pavers directly from BR Lee at the little facility. They would sit down, share a dinner, and walk away with the machine. Now my dad went, and then now I'm taking the business. And not only is that in the past sitting down with Mr. BR Lee, but now we've got Mike and his kids and Eric and Keith and Tommy, and still working at the factory.
I seen them.
Their kids.
I seen them there working.
And I've been there for 22 years, and I feel like part of that family, and that's why I'm so passionate about it.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that a little bit, that career of yours. How did you get into this role?
It's funny. I fell backwards into it. In 1993, I kind of reinvented myself. I graduated college in 1988, and which was a terrible time to be getting a job. But my first job in the career, I'm going to tell on myself, is I sold pagers. Do you know what a pager is, Marvin?
Yeah, I've seen people stuff them under doors to keep them open.
Exactly. It's I sold those. I made $15 a piece when I sold them, and honestly, that career.
I got a feeling Mike Musto built U.S. Pavement on a pager.
I guarantee it. So, but that industry it was so cutthroat. It almost turned me off of sales. Okay. But I was able to get into a business selling as a dealer, new industrial engines, diesel industrial engines for a Perkins dealer and a Isuzu dealer. Back in the day, and I'll shake some of the trees here. We were a dealer for a master distributor for Wisconsin and Continental, which both are no more today. So but you'll still see a lot of those out. So with that, I graduated up into, I went to work for a diesel engine manufacturer, Lombardini USA, which is now Kohler's diesel offering. They were bought by Kohler after I left. So I was able to travel half the country, the southern half of the country, selling diesel engines to OEMs. And my biggest customer was Leeboy. And back in those days, we put small 3-cylinder air-cooled diesel engines into our 400 series rollers, and also a liquid-cooled diesel engine into the 635 grader, which was a small 45 horsepower grader. So in those days, back at the old plant, it was, I'll tell you a funny story. Back in the day, we had an interesting purchasing plan. I had an open invitation to visit my contact, which was Mr. B.R. Lee's son-in-law, Tommy Weiss, any day I wanted to at 11:55 a.m. Okay. So we walk in, we talk about business, good, bad, and different for 5 minutes. Then we'd go to lunch, come back, and I would count his engines. Okay.
That's how you did inventory?
Almost doing inventory. I was his inventory man. I'd come back and say, okay, Tommy, you've got X number of engines. What's your production rates? And he'd tell me. We'd do some quick math, and then I would divide that by the number of weeks it's going to take to get a container of engines. And if that math worked out, he wrote a purchase order for a C container of engines, purchase order with his name on it.
Wow.
That's how we did business back in the day. And it worked. His only rule was do not let me run out. He said, because if I run out, Mr. B.R. Lee is coming after me. So that was, that was our rule. So it progressed, and we had a great relationship there. And there came a time at Leeboy when Mr. B. R. Lee sold out in 2000 that they said, we're going to develop more territories, more concise territories, and we're going to develop dealerships, more dealerships than they had. So they went on a nationwide search for guys and brought me in. And funny enough, we started as independent reps. Okay. That was the only product that we represented, was anything that came out of the Leeboy factory. We had a specific territory that we sold in. And they said, okay, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars for every machine. Well, X percentage for every machine that you sold.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll pay all your expenses, whether it's hotel, gasoline. If you come to a trade show, that's on you. So basically, they were going to pay me a flat rate. And
but you had to invest in yourself, though.
100%. And I'm thinking too, I lived in Georgia still at the time, and the territory they had open started in Kentucky.
Okay.
So I'm 2 states away. So I'm thinking to myself, do I take a job that I'm guaranteed zero money in states that are 2 states away from me? I've got a 6-hour drive before I can sell anything. You know, who would take this job? Quick math said, yeah, this is going to pay off. And 22 years later, it's the best company I could ever imagine to work for.
Did you have anybody that you looked to during those times to help you develop into making those sales, or a salesperson? Was there like books you read or anything like that, or was it all your self-development?
It's not all me. The day that I started at Leeboy, we were having a national sales meeting. So that got us kicked off real well. I went and looked at the machine, and honestly, Marvin, there could have been a squirrel inside turning a wheel to make this thing work. I had no idea. Okay. All I knew was fluffy asphalt went in the front and road came out the back. Okay. So, but really 3 people kind of got me going. Okay. One of them was a retired salesman, Elaine Stevens, who was the best in the business through the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and into the 2000s. She sold more. She put more people into the paving business than anybody cares to mention.
Wow. Really?
So go ahead.
Really? It was her.
Yeah, she took me under her wing, showed me how to work hard, showed me when I had an issue. It wasn't just call somebody else. You fix that issue so that the guy could get going, because when that asphalt's in front of the paver, it's not Walmart. You can't take it back.
Right.
Okay? If you've got an issue, you got to fix it or find somebody that can. Right. And
that so built trust too. That built trust.
It does. And that's kind of where our situation at Leeboy is really paid off, is because we realized that. Mm-hmm. You know, another one of our salesmen that retired a couple of years ago, Jim Wagner, he was the kind of guy that he had the Southeast region before me. And he was the type of guy that we'd sit in a meeting and he'd be quiet, he'd be thinking, but when he spoke, you listened. So, and one of my friends that I hope gets to see this, that's still in the business, is Scott McLean. Scott McLean. Owns the McLean Company in Columbus, Ohio. Scott was actually the first dealer I called on, and he let me know real quick, I don't care if you have the answer to right now or not. All I care is to get the answer and get it to me. And so Scott also took me under his wing, taught me about paving and milling and best practices. And Scott actually gave me the opportunity to take over some of these classes at these functions. And I owe a lot to not only Scott, but the McLean family for taking me under their wing and kind of showing me the business. And that's what it's about in here. Nobody does it alone. So right. It's fun to look back on those guys.
Well, the thing about Leeboy, right? Like we've kind of talked about how they got started and the family and how some of them were. When I was there at Leeboy, what intrigued me, right, is how the first ones they made and how they were made in the garage and everything else, and how they'd come back from work and put the units together and all that stuff. But then how that developed into a product that now there's sales teams and managers all over selling these, and they've acquired other companies and everything. It's one of those stories where you could almost, there could be a book written about it, right?
Mhm.
And then at some point a movie made about it. It's that good of a story. And the fact that you've been there that long, and the fact that, you know, how many times have we heard trust Leeboy? Like,
Mhm.
and the crazy part of it is, like we were just talking about that sales process. One of the things Elaine said is like, they need to trust you. Like, it developed trust, which is literally what the whole company was built on. The fact that you knew that this machine was going to work and not leave you hanging with blacktop sitting in front of your machine or whatever.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
um, can we fast forward? Let's fast forward a little
Mhm.
bit and talk about a few pieces of the current line that either have been, listen, with there's a couple machines that are iconic. One of them for sure is the Leeboy 1000, and the
Mhm.
other thing is the Legend Screed. Like,
Right.
hands down, game changers, both of those machines. But you want to touch on a few of those, kind of your favorite
Yeah,
piece and what we have
it's
there.
fun because the 1000 for years and years was our number one selling paper, and the point of pride that maybe some of your listeners and viewers don't know is that back in the 70s, Mr. B.R. Lee built pull type pavers, and if you've ever had a pull box, and I'm sure you've got some viewers right now holding up their hands and rolling their eyes at the old pull box paver, but that's how he got started.
Put
But
blacktop down. It started the industry.
it
They said
started the industry. He wasn't the first to build the pull
no,
type.
but the pull
Mr.
boxes
Lakeland,
did. They started the industry.
and that started the whole commercial industry. Before that,
Mm-hmm.
it was just, let's just put it down and shovel it.
Yeah.
But BR said, you know what? There's a better way. I'm watching these Barber Green machines pave our interstates. He said, there's got to be a way to make our job easier. And so he uh, invented, if you will, the first self-propelled commercial paver, which was the 500. That honestly, and the fun part is the 500 paver. We found the first one back in about 2013, refurbished it, took it to ConExpo in 2014, which was our 50th anniversary, and we fired it up. It could pave just as good that day as it did the first day. And now that machine is still sitting on the Lee family property under the garage, just preserved for time. So
Good.
that's the point of pride for us. And for years, that 1000 built companies, and my hat's off to those guys that still use that machine today, because it does a fantastic job. But the work that goes into those guys, because it's a paver that's made to run out of asphalt. So the finesse that it takes, and then step that up to kind of our hallmark pavers, the 8500. 8500 built Leeboy, and it built 90% of the commercial pavers in this country. Mm-hmm. And we're still producing it today. It's got more of a family look today, but it still harkens back to the old days. If you looked at the first, not even 8500, but the first conveyor commercial pavers that Leeboy built, all of the valves and controls are still in the same place today as they were then. Why is that important? Because a man knows if he gets off that machine today, hops on another one tomorrow, he can do it with his eyes closed.
Yeah.
So it's that familiarity that the customers have come. It's what they expect from us to be able to make money. And let's face it, these guys that have made their money with Leeboy pavers and in the commercial paving industry, they're not out there with 3, 4, 5 backup machines. Right. They're not out there with 10 dump trucks in their fleet. That paver, the owner is sitting on the back of the paver, and he's making money to feed his family and for the next generation. So that's where that's kind of where it goes. In the old days, they'll tell, and ConExpo is a great place to listen to these stories. Hey, BR and his boys built pavers Monday through Friday. Okay. Saturday was sweep up day in the factory, and anybody that dropped in that needed some work done on their pavers, they got under those pavers and did the work so they could go back to work on Monday morning. So it's that's kind of the, you know, it breeds loyalty, and that's kind of a textbook. Like you said, you could write a book about it, but you don't do it to sell the next machine. You do it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and I think that that's one thing that I noticed, especially as I've got to know the staff there at Leeboy and Leeboy's story, and was able to take in the tour that we did and that type of stuff, is that never, I'm sure the conversations are had, but never in the atmosphere of culture was, hey, let's crank out as many of these bad boys as we can and get them out there and get them. We need them. It was always the focus on the quality so that there could be trust in the contractor that that machine was going to function that day when they pull it off a low boy, right? And get mixing it and get going with it. And as you pointed to, a lot of things are still in the same positions. There's been a lot of little minor changes and finesse changes, those types of things, but it wasn't ever at some point was there a complete overhaul to where everything was all over the place. You didn't know where it was. The mindset of that, of understanding, hey, these guys are guys that went from metal boxes or wooden boxes that was welded together with chains stuck to the back of a dump truck, spreading it out, to now running these machines and running that. They're not going to be union operators, right? Or operators. So we have to make sure that if they're going to pave for the next 30 years and they're going to buy pavers from us every 5 years, that we don't put up a roadblock. And I've noticed that, right, little by little, when it went from torch screed to electric screed and fluid heated screed and infrared heated screed, and some of them now and stuff like that. Like that's something that is an attention to detail that creates trust, understanding that when I buy a new machine, I'm not going to have to relearn everything that I had to learn before, because you and I, you spoke about it. You only have so much time in order to make the money, especially if you're in a seasonal area like where we are here in Wisconsin. There's only so much daylight, right? And the plant only runs so many days, right, of the week. So it's really important to have that. You did hint to ConExpo, right? And the conversations that are there and that type of stuff. I know for a fact that we can't really say what's going to happen at ConExpo, but we have.
I don't know what you're talking about, Marvin.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so. But we have been seeing some flashes and some great marketing on something big coming up, something exciting coming up. I know we can't touch on it. Can you just talk about the excitement that is at Leeboy and for ConExpo for this? Because we're going to be there, of course. You know, I'm going to get some pictures. I'm going to be there right when the moment happens.
Right. Sure.
I'm excited for it.
It is funny. I'll step back one part from that, because if you remember, ConExpo 2020 was, to me, and I made this mention this week, ConExpo 2020 was just a blur because of everything that was happening with COVID. You didn't know whether you even wanted to shake somebody's hand, right?
I know.
So everybody was thinking about that. There were some exhibitors pulling out. So giving a plug to the whole ConExpo organization, this is going to be the biggest ConExpo that we've seen in ages. It is so, we are so excited. My customers and dealers are so excited to be there. And I'm going to tell you what, Marvin, you and I are in the wrong place today, because probably, let's see, right now it's about 10:30 Eastern time. By lunchtime, there's going to be a caravan of, I think, 8 trucks leaving the Leeboy plant with machines.
Man.
And we've got film crews. We've got, and I'll guarantee you, the horn's going to blow at our place. Every employee is going to go out and watch that caravan going. We are excited. It's it's a great time, because it's the economies are good. We've had some challenges with supply chain, with our workforce.
Connecting with
fun
people.
Part is we've got more people working at Leeboy now than we ever did.
Yeah,
and that's incredible. Our supply chain, one day it might be axles for graders, one day it might be door hinges. But I think, and I'm no economist. I see what I see. I think we are getting, we're coming down on the backside of some of that, but ConExpo is going to be exciting. We've actually, the farthest I can let everyone peek behind the curtain is that we're going to have 3 machines there that nobody's ever seen before. Okay, so brand new, not redesigns. These are going to be brand new, and we're having some press conferences for those. With everything I did hear when I was at the plant this week that every machine that's at ConExpo, which I think we have 12 machines, something is upgraded on every one of those machines.
Cool.
Innovation is the key. And it's not just, hey, let's do this because it's cheaper. Let's do this because this will make it easier to build. Let's do this because that's what the asphalt guy told us at last ConExpo he wanted.
Yeah.
So it's really going to be, we're blowing our chest out really big. It's going to be fun, not only for Leeboy, but just to see the excitement that everybody's back out traveling again.
Yes.
I don't know if you tried to get a dinner reservation, but there's none to be had in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun.
I figure I'm just going to mooch off people like normally. They're going to say, just pull up a chair, whatever, which that works out
That's
well.
right. That
works out well for me.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you.
trade you some airtime for a nice Las Vegas steak, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right. We'll make 2 posts for 2 dinners if you'll just get it. If you just get it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Use your strengths, right?
That's right.
Work
That's
smart,
right.
not hard.
Got leverage. That's right. We got leverage now. We got leverage, Brian. There's 2 points about what you just spoke about. One is the fact that because we were, I hate using the word lockdown, but quarantine, whatever they wanted to say, because we had time to be introspective during those years, we did see a lot of advancements like you're talking about, where people had time to get to the drawing board, make this happen, make these adjustments in preparation for when the gate came open and we're able to do this now. The other second thing is the excitement that exists now for these moments that are going to happen has elevated because we haven't been able to do it in a while. It's like, let's say let's say you were going to go to a Braves game down there, right? And you had season tickets and you always go. There's times where people went when they were a kid and didn't get to go again until they were an adult and take their kid. And their game means a lot more at that moment than the person that has season tickets and goes to every game. That's kind of what this feels like. Like it feels like we're hype. Like the whole asphalt industry is hyped for ConExpo. It's going to be fun.
But and it's funny that you mentioned that hype is there, but guess what? We've got to deliver.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We've got to make sure that there's something there for them to see, and that we didn't spend that introspective time sitting on our hands, because the asphalt guys, especially the commercial asphalt guys, they've evolved a little bit. Their grandfather turned a lot of wrenches just to get him going, but these guys expect more out of our dealer network and out of our factory. We've got the best dealer network in the nation that in most cases work 24/7 to make sure that these guys, when they stroke that lever forward, the machine goes forward, the conveyors turn on, the augers turn on, and you get a slick mat coming out the back. So they're looking to us. Right. Not only are they excited about going, they want to see, what have you done? Why did you do this? And tell us how it's going to help make me more money.
Well, the thing about that, right, is that since that time, since the last ConExpo, Leeboy, Blacktop Banter, and other entities within our industry have connected in a way that made us get inventive, right, with the way we market, the way we connect, the way we kept presence there when we weren't physically able to keep presence there, right? So that's the thing that gets me excited, because we develop relationships that make us excited to see people, right, at this event. Like I'm more excited than I've ever been, and it's because of the fact of not only are we going to be able to see these people who we've been able to see a little bit lately, but now all of our fruits of our labor are going to be there as well, and it makes everybody excited in that regard when it comes to that. So it's
it's all not roses. We also love to hear, and believe me, we love to hear the guys that said, what you've done is great, but let me tell you what I find in the field. One of my expressions that we really take to heart here at Leeboy is sometimes the weatherman's got to stick his hand outside to see if it's really raining. And that's what our guys do. You know, we listen to our dealers. We've got our dealers on the ground. We've got our engineers on the ground. We've got senior product managers that are in contact with guys every day. We want to hear what guys like, but in some cases don't like. You know, tell us, I could be more productive if you did this, and it starts those wheels turning. You know, it's innovate or die. You can't stand still. You can't stand on your laurels, even if you are, you know, the market share leader. You know, we've got to do it better, because if we don't innovate, somebody else will, and it's hard. It's hard to get a customer back.
Yeah, well, here's, you know, I spoke about that when I was down there in October and had a wonderful chance to talk to your team. Things are going to change. Like, they're changing right now. The fact that Blacktop Banter can exist and do what we do for our industry and provide a service to companies like Leeboy and other companies within the industry that didn't exist 5 years ago lets us know that we have to keep innovating. We have to. Right. Otherwise, we're going to get caught behind this curve. And as much as that's comfortable, that previous curve, right? As much as it's comfortable to be there, because that's what we know, the times are here now where we have to stretch a little bit. We have to think differently, think outside the box, because if not, somebody is going to. And I spoke about this a lot about social media when I first said, you know, guys, we all have to start using this and getting our presence there. People looked at me like I was green when I said it, but now everybody uses social media, right? And they know they need to in order to keep a presence there. So I'm really excited because, like you said, there's all new innovations coming from Leeboy on all the machines that are going to be there. And there's 3 new machines that we've never seen before. That lets us know that not only is Leeboy innovating in their equipment range, but also you're on a podcast with me right now that we're going to put out and put on social media and live forever in the industry talking about this type of stuff. That's new as well, right? That's a new tangent that we all do as well here coming up forward. So I'm very excited for that. I'm really excited that there are companies like Leeboy that are innovating in their space where they've been all the time, and then partnering to innovate in my space here where we are. We all are representing the asphalt industry, right? And we all care that everybody succeeds there. So I'm really excited for that. And Brian, I'm excited you joined me today, man.
It's been a pleasure. Marvin, always enjoys seeing you out in the field, and you've been to our Leeboy plant. I'd invite people to take that trip. There's nothing behind a curtain at Leeboy, as you can attest. We love to hear from the contractors. When a contractor stops in, you know, we'll fix him up. We'll make sure he sees what he wants to see and talk to the right people. So it's, you know, I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate about this industry, and I'm passionate about Leeboy and our dealerships. We've got the best dealerships in the country that support our product. We couldn't do it without, you know, the guys with the feet on the ground that spread the word and get the job done. It makes our job easier. How about that?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, it makes your job easier because when I was there, I seen that the customer support team, right, and facility that was right there is unmatched from what I've seen, right? It's unmatched. Yep. And
we're 24 hours a day, you make a call to Leeboy and get an answer.
Yep, 24 hours a day, you call Leeboy, get an answer. And that was really, there's separators there that you can tell that is what created that trust, right? I mean, literally, it's weird to go back to that and know that your company cued in on that for a long time, right? With trust and Leeboy, but really that's what it is. I mean, that's why you got people that are diehards, right, about brands and different things, because they've had a trust and a great experience there with it. So I before we let you go, I'm going to have we're going to do a pod deck, and I'm going to shuffle them up.
All right. I'm going to put on my glasses. So
yeah, you better. I'll read it to you, but
okay, thanks. I'm not very good at reading.
Well, I'll read it for you, and we'll go from there. I don't want it to be blurry, but I do want people to know they can go to @Leeboy_proud on Instagram and check out everything's going on there. I would encourage them to look at the promos that's been going on. And then, of course, always go to leeboy.com, and you can check out the full range of equipment and products and things there. And, you know, it's nice to kind of pop in there a little bit once in a while and
yes, it is.
See what's going on. So
see what's new. You might be surprised, right?
You might be. Might be. I am. Usually I'm surprised, especially when I'm like, they can't do much more. And then I'll doing more. I think they think that about me too, though, Brian. I think that people probably think, man, Marvin can do much more. And then all of a sudden we do more.
And there you go. You got to innovator.
Right, we're gonna cut this bad boy up. Let's go. What weird food combinations do you really enjoy?
Oh, that's funny. My favorite food that my wife and family will not let me eat is a cheeseburger with a fried egg on top. So
Really?
I'm a heart patient, so they say, Dad, we don't think that the ambulances are fast enough to get here. So that's probably my favorite food that I don't get to enjoy.
Don't you love the yolk on the beef patty?
Don't get me started.
The
Don't
flavor of that, it's so savory and so good. Like it's probably granted, it's one of the weirdest combos because you're taking two different animals and putting their products on there, but you also do that with bacon. Now, if you can do eggs, bacon, and the burger, which is terrible for you or me or anybody who would consume it more than likely with a slice of Wisconsin cheese on it, buddy, it's a game.
I tell you what, Marvin, there's a restaurant in Las Vegas called the Heart Attack Grill.
Yep.
We'll make a trip and see what it's really about. How about that?
All right, that sounds fair enough. We can do that. I'll take a little bite. We'll see. I'll go there with you.
Yeah, no, you're right. We got it. We're not as healthy as we used to be.
That's right. We gotta be conservative. We gotta be around a while. A little bit longer anyways. Still got stuff to do. Brian, thank you so much, my friend, for joining me.
My pleasure. And we'll see you in Vegas. And to all your guys out there, come by, find out what we're all about. Even if you just want to talk about how good the Braves are going to be this year, we'll discuss that as well.
Yeah, well, we can do that. Or Brewers. We'll see how that goes. Well, for myself and for Brian Hall at Leeboy, I'm Marvin with Blacktop Banter. This has been episode 98, closing in on that episode 100. Got a special guest on that one. Hope everybody will tune in for. And we want to see you at ConAg Expo this year. If you follow us on social media, there is a discount that we give for your registration. It's not too late. You can pop over there on some of our stuff. If you can't find it, just DM us and let us know. And we'll see you there, Brian. Thank you, my friend.
Yes, sir.
All right.
My pleasure.
Peace.